Today we are going to watch a survival thriller movie where, one day, terrifying man-eating creatures suddenly emerge from beneath the earth. These creatures are incredibly powerful. They can lift humans with ease and carry them away. Within just a single day, they spread across the entire world and begin destroying everything in their path. In no time, the earth is pushed toward complete devastation. But in the end, will humanity be able to survive these deadly creatures? That is what this movie is all about. The story begins in an office building in the United States, where a group of engineers work together. Like any normal day, everyone is busy with their work. However, today is special. It is Ollie's birthday, and all the employees are celebrating together. Suddenly, something strange appears on the office monitors. Horrifying creatures rising from beneath the ground. No one has ever seen such beings before, so everyone becomes nervous. Still, they don't take it too seriously at first. Soon, one by one, those creatures start moving toward the office building. To investigate, one man goes to the back side of the office, but as soon as he reaches there, a terrifying creature appears in front of him. These creatures are extremely horrifying in appearance. One of them suddenly attacks the office head and kills him on the spot. Hearing his screams, the rest of the employees panic. Within moments, several creatures invade the office. Tries to escape, but the creatures are huge and incredibly strong. One by one, they kill everyone inside the office. The scene then shifts to the outside world. In reality, these creatures have suddenly appeared all over the earth. From a distance, they look somewhat like giant bats, but their size is massive. They possess extraordinary strength and can lift humans in seconds. Their reproduction rate is extremely fast, allowing them to spread across the globe in no time. Within a few days, millions of people are killed by these terrifying beings. These creatures are very strange. They can fly in the air and also move on land. They emerge from deep tunnels and massive underground pits. Whenever they come out, they do so in large groups. Because of this, armies are deployed everywhere to stop them. Military helicopters attack the creatures from the sky, but their numbers are so large that stopping them becomes nearly impossible. Day by day, their population continues to grow, and the world slowly collapses. Homes, roads, and entire cities are completely destroyed. Eventually, the government decides to create a much stronger military force to fight back. After extensive research, they discover that these creatures are born inside massive underground pits and tunnels known as gates. Using maps, the army locates these gates and seals them as quickly as possible. Although many creatures still remain outside, the army is now fully prepared. With warships, helicopters, tanks, and heavy weapons, they launch a massive attack and eliminate the remaining creatures. The story then jumps forward 15 years now. We see a laboratory where a woman named Laura is working on a research project. One of her colleagues comes to her and asks if she has finished her work. He suggests going out to eat together. We learn more about Laura. She has a son and a husband. Though they are not officially divorced, they live separately. Every week, her husband takes their son with him. Today, her son is gone with his father, so Laura is free. At first, she refuses her colleague's offer, but eventually agrees and gets ready to go out with him. Next, we see Laura's son, James, at his college, talking with his friends. Among them is a close friend named Mia, whom James deeply cares about. James notices that Mia looks upset and asks her what's wrong. Mia says that today there is a solar eclipse, and 15 years ago, during a similar eclipse, those terrifying creatures first appeared and killed millions of people. She says she feels very scared. James laughs and reassures her, saying there's nothing to worry about. 15 years have passed, and solar eclipses have happened every year since then, yet the creatures never returned. He tells her to stop worrying and tries to cheer her up. After college, James returns home and starts playing video games. Soon, his father John arrives to take him with him, as he does every week. John loves his son deeply, even though his relationship with Laura is very bad. Laura is also at home, working in the kitchen. John tries to talk to her, but they quickly start arguing again. They can't stand each other, which is why they live separately, despite not being divorced. The scene then shifts to the army headquarters, the same force that fought the creatures 15 years ago. For all these years, the creatures have not been seen again. However, now strange and dangerous signals are being detected at the locations where the gates were sealed. The army had installed special devices near the gates to detect any activity. When officers go to check one of these devices, it suddenly breaks. Alarms start ringing, and red lights begin flashing. Everyone realizes that this means a serious threat that creatures may be returning. That night, while John is sleeping, his uncle Michael calls him. Michael tells John that he has sent him an address and asks him to bring his entire family there before the solar eclipse the next day. When John asks what's wrong, Michael replies seriously, saying John will understand everything once he arrives. Meanwhile, James is watching TV when breaking news appears. The news reports strange events happening around the world: mass deaths, a fish in the oceans, and other unusual signs. People begin to suspect that the terrifying creatures may be returning, as similar signs appeared 15 years ago. The government urges everyone to remain alert. Soon after, Laura calls John in panic. She demands that he bring their son back immediately, saying she doesn't trust him in such dangerous times. John calmly assures her that James is safe, but Laura refuses to listen and angrily insists on getting her son back. When John goes to check on James, he realizes that James is not in his room. Shocked, John hangs up the call. Laura immediately understands that something is wrong and becomes extremely worried. At that moment, Laura's colleague William arrives, tells her not to panic, and explains that he has arranged a safe shelter with food and supplies. Urges her to come with him, but Laura refuses, saying she will not go anywhere without her son. William quickly tracks James's phone and discovers his location. It turns out James has gone to meet Mia, the girl he secretly loves. After seeing the news, he rushed to her. They are lying in an open field, talking, when suddenly they look up and see hundreds of birds flying wildly in the sky. Terrified, they start running. Other people in the field also panic and flee, and with this, the danger begins once again. On a deserted island, against a foggy horizon, stands a lone watchtower. A bald man lives there who now calls himself Mason. From a distance, he silently watches a supply boat slowly approaching the shore. This boat brings his weekly supplies, and is his only connection to the outside world when the boat docks. A man tells his young niece Jessie to deliver thee to the island. Jessie carefully walks to Mason's house. She places the supplies at the door, and as a gesture of friendship, leaves behind a small gift. She wants to befriend this mysterious man, but Mason has no intention of talking to anyone. He stays hidden in the darkness and keeps his distance from people. Seeing this, Jessie quietly leaves. This scene repeats for many months. Gradually, Mason's dull and lonely life becomes visible. He lives alone on that silent island. His only companion is his loyal dog. The only small joy in his boring life is playing chess, which helps him forget his pain and past for a while. Months pass. One day Jessie comes again with supplies. This time she doesn't stay silent. She loudly calls out to Mason. Forced, Mason comes outside and asks what she wants. Jessie finally speaks her heart. She tells him she has been leaving gifts for him every time, but he never responded or even looked at her. Hearing this, Mason coldly says she doesn't need to come anymore. Hurt by his harsh words, Jessie asks why he behaves so badly. Mason gives no answer. He simply slams the door shut. Heartbroken, Jessie returns toward her uncle's boat. But suddenly, a violent storm begins. Fierce winds blow, massive waves rise, and the sea becomes uncontrollable. In the chaos, the small boat carrying Jessie flips over. She struggles in the water and begins to drown in the swirling waves. From inside his house, Mason sees everything through the window. He doesn't hesitate even for a moment. He runs outside, jumps into his boat, and heads straight into the storm. Amid heavy rain and raging winds, Mason dives into the sea. Risking his life, he fights the waves and swims toward Jessie. When he reaches her, he is shocked to see her uncle is nowhere. Swept away by the current, he is drowned. There is no time to grieve. Mason pulls Jessie onto the boat with all his strength. Panicking, he tries to save her, pressing her chest repeatedly and giving mouth-to-mouth breaths. After a few breath-stopping seconds, Jessie coughs violently, spits out water, and slowly regains consciousness. Mason immediately takes her back to the island house. Seeing her condition, he realizes Jessie has deep wounds on her leg. After stabilizing her, Mason is forced to tell her the bitter truth that her uncle did not survive. The news shocks Jessie deeply. She breaks down and cries uncontrollably. The next morning, Mason examines her wound again and realizes the injury is more serious than he thought. Carefully cleans it, bandages it, and does his best to treat her.
During treatment, Jessie reveals
that besides her uncle, she has no one in the world. They only had each other. This doesn't surprise Mason because her uncle was his old friend. They had served together in the Navy and had faced death many times side by side. After telling the truth, Mason goes out to do his daily work, leaving Jessie alone in the house in the middle of the deserted island. While he's gone, Jessie looks around and finds a knife. She quietly keeps it with her for protection, in case something bad happens. That night, Mason wakes to Jessie's scream. She has had a nightmare. He goes to calm her, but out of fear, Jessie suddenly pulls out the knife and points it at him. Mason neither gets scared nor angry. In a calm voice, he talks to her and slowly reassures her. After a while, Jessie calms down. Once her fear fades, Mason teaches her how to properly hold the knife and how to defend herself if needed. It becomes clear that although Mason appears harsh on the outside, he truly cares about Jessie's safety. Days pass, and Mason slowly begins to care for Jessie like a daughter looking after her food, sleep, and safety. Jessie also starts adjusting to life on the island. She befriends Mason's dog and plays with him for hours. Seeing this, Mason feels a simple peace and happiness in his heart after a long time. Sometime later, Jessie learns that Mason never named the dog. Happily, she names him Tommy. Mason likes the small, sweet name and doesn't object. He is also surprised to learn that Jessie knows how to play chess. Her understanding of the game impresses him, but this small happiness doesn't last long. A week later, when Mason checks her wound again, he sees the swelling hasn't reduced. He realizes his temporary treatment isn't enough. Jessie needs proper medicine and care. With no other option, Mason decides he must leave the island. He sails to the nearest town to get medicines. On the mainland, he keeps his cap pulled low to hide his face and deliberately avoids security cameras. This habit runs deep, his every step cautious, leaving no trace. Meanwhile, across the sea, a tense British government hearing is underway. Former MI6 director Manifold is being questioned by MPs about a top-secret program called EVA. This system illegally monitored phone calls worldwide and sent intelligence directly to MI6, violating millions of people's privacy. Despite the accusations, Manifold defends his decision, claims Project EVA prevented many terrorist attacks and saved countless innocent lives. But the court rejects his argument and orders the program shut down immediately. After the hearing, Manifold meets the Prime Minister. The PM understands how powerful and important EVA is, but with elections approaching, he cannot publicly support it. He tells Manifold to stay silent until elections end. In return, EVA will secretly continue, but Manifold must disappear and return to the identity of Mason. On the other side, while shopping, Mason also buys new clothes for Jessie. While leaving the store, he unknowingly walks behind some famous vloggers, recording a video. Has no idea that the footage is captured by the MI6 system. Within moments, facial recognition scans his face and triggers an alert. The information reaches MI6's new director, Roberta, opening the file. She learns Mason is an international terrorist linked to multiple deadly bombings. Without wasting a second, she orders her officers to capture Mason at any cost. The next morning, Mason finishes treating Jessie's wound and carefully ties the bandage. Jessie is very happy with her new clothes. After many sad days, a sweet smile returns to her face. That night, both of them sit together and eat dinner.